verse, I think, is also super interesting because again it was inspired from like multiple things, and in this case like none of these things are metal, but like the song as a whole, like I know some of you would be like,
oh, this is not metal.
In my days, metal used to be so much heavier. This is gay.
But whatever, a lot of people consider this to be metal, so I'm not gonna argue with you. Right, so anyway, here is what the verse sounds like.
Like a star, you're hanging on the night sky, and the plan is for me to go outside. At the start, I thought this was a goodbye. Thought we ran out of time, didn't know I could fly. There's a weight on my chest, dragging me like a rock to the bottom of the sea. There's no way I feel like I can't breathe, and the silence is drowning me.
What inspired me production-wise and songwriting-wise to write this verse? First of all, it has the same chord progression as 11 minutes, like I said before about the intro. And then another thing that inspired me from 11 minutes was that the drums in this song are mostly real drums, but at the same time they're layered with like electronic, like shop drums, I guess. And then I really liked the sound when I heard it because it's big, it's rock, but at the same time it's like it's a little bit of hip hop at the same time and a little bit of like mainstream pop. So it's like I really like that because it's a combination of both. But obviously the real drums in 11 minutes are like a lot less, I guess, compressed, and like they're not as big and as rock-ish as these, but then the trap drums, which I'm gonna show you, the trap drums just give it that freshness and that like really nice modern So these are the electronic drums soloed. There's like a few different types of hats going on. There's a few different types of snares. Like if you noticed, every first snare is dry, but every second snare is layered with like a clap that also goes into a reverb. So like that gives some extra movement and like some different like sounds in there. And there's obviously an electronic kick as well. And then I'm gonna solo the real drums as well in the same part. So these were the real drums, and together they just, I think they sound amazing and just have that really nice and modern sound that is kind of unique. Like some people do that, but not a lot at the moment. Another thing you have to keep in mind, if you're layering real drums with electronic drums, you have to be careful to like do a lot of volume automation, because otherwise, like if you just stack electronic drums on top of real drums, then the part with the electronic drums and the real drums is just gonna sound so much bigger than the part when there's no electronic drums, which is the part after that and before that actually. So yeah, if you're doing layering of that kind, just be extra cautious with the volumes and do a lot of volume automation, because by their nature, like electronic drums sound much bigger than real drums, because they're made by mathematically calculated electricity. So, and then what is also very interesting and what also inspired me from the same song, from Halsey 11 Minutes, was that it has like those like emo trap guitars on the background, which I'm gonna show you, which also very much reference Nothing Nowhere. So the way the guitars are in Halsey's song 11 minutes, they're not like, they don't have too many effects. They're like a little bit dry, and they're like very high passed as well. But these guitars here, although the instrumentation was inspired from 11 minutes, the sound for the guitars was actually inspired more by Nothing Nowhere. If you don't know this artist, he's amazing. He's like an emo, like pop punk, R&B, like post-hardcore artist. He does so many things. He's amazing. Right, so this is what the guitars sound like soloed. Right, so as you can see, these guitars are much better than that Halsey song. They like the tone of the guitars and the effects. Like, I would say they're kind of inspired by Periphery and Tesseract, who like also do those like really ambient, very super dry, like amazing lush guitars. So I don't know, like I guess the sound is a mix of like Nothing Nowhere and like Periphery, which is a weird thing, but it works just fine. And then the vocals for this part were also kind of emo, like you know, when I mentioned that emo artist Nothing Nowhere, he also sounds very similar to, if you haven't heard of him, some of his songs, like his older stuff. Like if you listen to Hammered, I think is a good example of that. He has some like really emo trappy songs with like ambient guitars, and like this is the vibe I was going for in this verse, and the vocals were also inspired from that. And also I would say they have like that kind of repetition that like Post Malone has in when he writes vocal lines. You know how like he takes a melody and like he repeats it again and again. This is like kind of the vibe I was going for in these verses, and then these are the vocals on these verses.
Like a star, you're hanging on the night sky, and the plan is for me to go outside. I just started, I thought this was a goodbye, thought we ran out of time, didn't know I could fly.
So it's George who's singing the main vocals on this part, but as you could probably tell, there's a lot of layering going on, which is all, I think they're all my vocals. And then on the second part of the verse, the vocal line is a little bit more poppy, I would say, and I think it has a weird effect on it.
There's a weight on my chest dragging me like a rock to the bottom of the sea. There's no way I feel like I can't breathe, and the silence is drowning me.
So yeah, so this is what the vocals sound like on the second part of the verse, and I do have like an octave thing going on the vocals, so it's like the exact same vocal but an octave higher. And that kind of effect is like very common in like modern and like mainstream like R&B, like who does that? Halsey definitely does that, but also there's artists like Chase Atlantic, which I love, who do that. It's really enlightening. It's like really inspiring to know that you can like get different things from like different artists and put them all together, and like at the same time still be you below all of those things, and the result is just gonna be something that's kind of unique. And then the next part is gonna be the chorus. Let's really jump on the chorus. I'm only gonna go through the vocals for the chorus. Let's go a little bit before the chorus. There's a nice. So, the vocals for this chorus, I don't know where I got the inspiration for these vocals. I guess these vocals are like kind of my style of vocals, poppy metal vocals. What's very interesting, there's actually one thing that I got some inspiration from Architects. And I got inspiration from the song Animals. And if you listen to the chorus of that song, what does it go like? We're just a bunch of fucking animals, but we're afraid of the outcome. Which is like a really, really nice contrast. It's really interesting because it puts together two like very different vocal textures and like two very different vocal dynamics, which in real life, if you heard that without the vocals going through a mic and through a compressor, it would sound whack, it would sound weird, because like the guy would literally be screaming at your face, and then less than a second later he would be like almost whispering. So yeah, I think this contrast is really, really nice. It sounds really modern. It adds a lot of depth and movement to the vocal composition, and this is where this kind of arrangement got inspired from, although I don't think the vocals sound like Architects, but that idea was inspired actually from Architects. Let's take a listen to the vocals soloed.
If I need you, will I get you today? Or me and you just fade into memory. If I'm bleeding, will that drive you away? Your silence speaks so nice, you like me.
So there's a lot of layering as well, as you can tell. There's like some harmonies, there's some octave vocals, there's some vocals that have that octave effect that I previously described on the background. There's some screams as well in the ending. And I think it's nice when you get to a chorus. I think it's nice when you have like a lot of layers. Sometimes, not all of the times, but I think with this chorus it works because like there's a lot of stuff going on the instrumental as well. So like the vocals need a lot of layering to also sound big and be able to compete with the rest of the production. So yeah, I'm gonna show you as well the layers real quick that play together with the main vocals. So I think these are the harmonies.
If I need you, will I get you today?
As opposed to the main vocal, which goes like,
I need you, will I get you today?
and there's these backing vocals that have that octave effect.
Today, only you just fade into memory.
Which are also layered with the main vocals that sing the same melody an octave below.
Me and you just fade into memory. If I bleed.
And then on the last bit of the chorus, which is the line is very poppy, unexpectedly works really well when layered with these screams right here.
It's killing me!
So yeah, that's for the chorus. So yeah, that's it for the chorus. And last but definitely not least is gonna be the breakdown, for which I'm gonna play the breakdown one time, and then I'm just gonna show you a really interesting synth sound that I have going on. So that was the breakdown. Really quickly, the breakdown was inspired songwriting wise by Bring Me the Horizon, and there's a song in particular that comes to mind. I think it's Kingslayer. Yeah, it is Kingslayer. And then yeah, the sound, the synth sound, the lead you heard was very much inspired from that. But at the same time, this lead sound you heard has the exact same rhythmical pattern as the synth on the intro. So I'll show you what this lead sounds like by itself. So if you notice the rhythmic pattern, go like da 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 da. Oh, voice crack. Which is the same rhythmic pattern as the intro. So remember, the pattern is like da 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 da. So you see, it's a different sound. The notes are slightly different, but their rhythmic pattern stays the same, which I think is pretty interesting, and it's really nice because it kinda like ties things together. It's not like you're throwing a bunch of like random melodies in each part. They all like, it's nice when there's melodies that connect somehow. So yeah, luckily for you, I can show you what's going on inside Serum as well with this. So as you can hear, there aren't like too many things going on. There's a noise oscillator going on as well. The filter here is like the cutoff. Is like changing depending on the notes you're playing, which is an option. You can choose here, filter, key track, and then whatever keys you're playing, the filter moves accordingly. So if I play a C, it goes like that. Play an A, it goes there. Play an A, it knocks it low. It has a different movement. And what else? There are some effects. There's this hyper effect, which is like kind of like a chorus thing. It makes multiple voices and like it detunes them and pans them, so it adds like a lot more stereo width. There's distortion, there's an actual chorus effect, there's some EQ. So yeah, this is a very basic synth pretty much. If you have questions like over the vocal production or like the sound design of the synths, or like the mixing in general, like how I mix the drums or the guitars, or how I reamp the guitars, all of that stuff. If you have questions, or if you're interested in me doing some tutorials on how I made those, just write it down on the comments and I will do that. We have a whole album coming out on the 28th. Every song in this record is different and it's being inspired from different artists. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of episodes describing all those different inspirations for all these songs. So if you want to see what's coming next, make sure to hit the subscribe button somewhere over there.